In our yesterday's lecture, we have seen the concept of mass of an atom, and we have also calculated the mass of an atom with relative mass approach. We have calculated the mass of different atoms as well as molecules with the help of relative mass concept. Today, we have highly accurate methods for measuring the mass of an atom. One such example or one such method is unified mass method. With the help of this method, we can calculate the accurate mass of an atom or an molecule. So today we are going to see what do you mean by unified mass. Instead of relative mass, unified mass has now been accepted all over the world as it is highly accurate technique to measure mass of an atom. In this technique, the unit used to measure the mass of an atom, it is denoted by small letter u and it is also called as Dalton. The small letter u, which is called as Dalton, it is approximately equal to 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So this is the value of 1 u, that is 1 Dalton. It is denoted by small letter u and its value is 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. In this way, we are going to see and calculate the actual and accurate mass of an atom with the help of unified mass concept or unified mass approach. Now, we are going to see our next point, that is chemical symbols of elements. Before observing or studying different chemical symbols of element, we will answer few questions. Our first question is, how is an element indicated in chemistry? As we all know, every element in chemistry, it is indicated by its symbol. For example, sodium has a symbol of Na. Our second question is, write down the symbols of elements you know. All of us are familiar with some basic elements such as hydrogen, which has symbol H, sodium, which has symbol Na, oxygen, which has symbol O, and so on. We know many more elements with their symbols. Our third question is, write down the symbols for the following elements, that is antimony. The symbol of antimony is Sb. The symbol of iron is Fe. The symbol of gold is Au. The symbol of silver is Ag. The symbol of mercury is Hg. The symbol of lead is Pb. And the symbol of sodium is Na. In 19th century, Dalton has used some symbols for representing elements. For example, as you can see on the screen, he has used a dot and circular structure for hydrogen, and he has used a symbol with a circle and small letter C inside it for copper. Such symbols were used by chemists in 19th century. On the screen there is a list of elements along with their symbols. I request all of you to note down these elements along with their symbols in your notebook. It will be helpful for you and it will be an extra knowledge point. Hydrogen, the symbol of hydrogen and the symbol of copper, as you can see on the screen. Today we use the symbols determined by IUPAC, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. This organization decides the symbols of various elements which are present in the periodic table. As you can see on the screen, the symbol of copper is Cu and the symbol of hydrogen is H. These are official names and symbols and are used all over the world, which is recognized by IUPAC. The current method of choosing chemical symbols is based on the method which is invented by famous scientist Berzelius. His full name was Johannes Jacob Berzelius. According to this method, the symbol of an element is either its first letter or the first and second another specific letter in its name. For example, the symbol of hydrogen, it is denoted by its first letter H, and the symbol of nickel, it is denoted by two letters, that is N, capital N and small I. In nickel, the first letter is capital and the second letter is small. Now, we will move towards our next point, that is molecules of elements and compounds. As we all know, the elements which exist in the nature, they may be present in the nature in monoatomic, diatomic form. There are some elements which also exist in diatomic form, such as oxygen. Now we will see molecules of elements and compounds in detail. Atoms of some elements such as helium, neon have independent existence. These atoms have independent existence. It means that these elements are in a monoatomic molecular state. As we can see on the screen, the atom of helium and neon, they are present in monoatomic state. Sometimes two or more atoms of an element, sometimes two or more atoms of the same element combine to form molecules of that element. Such elements are in a polyatomic molecular state. As you can see on the screen, some elements are polyatomic in nature. For example, carbon, oxygen and nitrogen. As we can see on the screen, the diatomic structure of oxygen and nitrogen, when atoms of different elements combine with each other, then the molecules of compounds are formed. In other words, we also can say that compounds are formed by chemical attraction between different elements. Compounds are formed due to the chemical attraction between different elements. So here is a task for all of you. Make a list of elements in monoatomic and in the diatomic molecular state. Refer your textbook and list the number of elements, as many as you know. Now we will move towards our next concept, that is concept of molecular mass and mole. These two are the really important concepts as per chemistry is concerned. So now we are going to see molecular mass. The molecular mass of a substance is the sum of atomic masses of all the atoms present in that molecule. So, if you want to calculate the molecular mass, you have to consider all the atoms present in that molecule. Like atomic mass, molecular mass is also expressed with the help of unit Dalton. As we all know, Dalton, it is denoted by small letter u. As we can see on the screen, there is one example of H2O. As we all know, in H2O, that is water, there are one atom of oxygen with an atomic mass of 16, and there are two atoms of hydrogen with each having atomic mass 1. If two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen, then it forms H2O with a total mass of 18 Dalton or 18 U. This table will help us to see how the molecular mass of H2O has been deduced. We have H2O molecule, we have constituent elements such as hydrogen and oxygen. The atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, while the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. As we all know, in H2O, the number of atoms in H2O molecules, there are 2 hydrogen atoms and there is 1 oxygen atom. If we calculate the atomic mass with respect to this atom, then for hydrogen, the total atomic mass will be 1 into 2, and for oxygen, the atomic mass will be 16 into 1, because there is only one atom of oxygen in H2O. So, in this way, the mass of the constituents individual, that is for hydrogen, its mass will be 2, and for oxygen, its mass will be 16. In this way, the total molecular mass of H2O molecule will be the sum of constituent atomic masses of hydrogen as well as oxygen. Therefore, the molecular mass of H2O is equal to atomic mass of hydrogen into 2 plus atomic mass of oxygen into 1. In this way, the total molecular mass of H2O molecule becomes 18. So, following are the atomic masses of few elements. All are requested to note down these elements along with their atomic masses. As we all know, hydrogen has atomic mass which is equal to 1. Oxygen has atomic mass which is equal to 16. Nitrogen has atomic mass which is equal to 14. Carbon has atomic mass which is equal to 12. Potassium has atomic mass 39. Sulfur has atomic mass 32. Calcium has atomic mass 40. Sodium has atomic mass 23. Chlorine has atomic mass 35.5, and so on. I request all of you to note down these elements along with their atomic masses in your notebook. Now we are going to see some compounds along with their molecular formulas. The molecular formula of common salt is NaCl. The molecular formula for magnesium chloride is MgCl2, and so on. These are some molecular formulas of some compounds, and we can easily calculate their molecular mass. As we have seen in our recent approach of calculating molecular mass. We can calculate the molecular mass of these compounds with the help of highly accurate unified mass method or unified mass approach. Now we will discuss the next point, that is mole or concept of mole. Before discussing the concept of mole, we will discuss some questions. Our first point is weight single grains of tur dal, masoor dal and chana dal on a balance. This is activity kind of question. We are going to weight single grains of tur dal, masoor dal and chana dal, and we will note down the inferences. Again, we are going to weight 10 gram of tur dal, 10 gram of masoor dal and 10 gram of chana dal each, and we are going to count the number of dal grains of each kind. Dal grains means the number of grains present in that dal individually. Is the number of dal grains same in each portion or different? This is how we are going to answer this second point. Our third activity like question is draw a line sketch on a paper which is painted by placing or pasting the dal grains in a sequence. For example, we are going to place tur dal, masoor dal and Bengal gram dal sequentially, and for that we will need equal number of dal grains, that is same number of dal grains are to be used. Now we are going to count the number, and therefore we are going to deduce the number of grams of tur dal. In this approach we are using same number of dal grains, and now we are going to calculate the weight of those same number of tur dal grains, masoor dal grains and chana dal grains. After finishing this activity, we will find out how many dozens of respective dal grains were required in the same amount for the same amount of mass for tur dal, masoor dal and chana dal. In this way, we can calculate different numbers of tur dal, masoor dal and chana dal grains for same amount of masses also.